Good morning. Welcome to a video from Advanced Sports Analytics. My name is Gus Almashny, and I will be discussing the main slate for the games on Saturday, April 8th, 2017. So the top pitcher in the main slate would be Giants ace Madison Bumgarner, who has a great career record against the San Diego Padres. If we take a look at his career statistics against the current Padres hitters, it's really stellar. Of course, Bumgarner tends to have stellar numbers against most teams, but being that the Padres are a division rival, he knows them well. And you can see that the Padres have atrocious numbers against Bumgarner. Batting average less than 200, on-base percentage less than 250, which is terrible. Low slugging percentage, low OPS, 16 out of 85 for hits compared to at-bats. Not a very strong record. So Bumgarner should do well. If you do take a look at some of the distribution charts we have on the Advanced Sports Analytics site, you can see that when you look at Bumgarner's DraftKings points per $1,000 distribution for last season, it's a pretty tight distribution. We can see that the probability of Bumgarner averaging about 2 DraftKings points per $1,000 for salary is about 45% or so. So it's a very strong chance that he's going to probably maintain that ratio for today's game. So this indicates consistency with Bumgarner's ratio between DraftKings fantasy points and salary. So we could expect about 2 fantasy points per $1,000. We will get into Bumgarner's price in a little bit, which is high, but would indicate that he should be able to perform. Another ace that we like is Dallas Keuchel of the Houston Astros, another ace, right? He's going against the Royals today, and again, has okay numbers. Not as great as Bumgarner's numbers against the Padres, but still pretty strong numbers. They have hit him pretty hard, 308 batting average against. OPS is not bad. It's okay. If you look at some of the top hitters on the Royals, like Eric Hosmer's, 5 for 10, Lorenzo Cain 5 for 15. So not the greatest numbers when you look at history. But when you look at the splits, this is why Dallas Keuchel could be a really good start for today. At home, he's really, really strong. We look at his ERA, it's 2.43, away 3.99. So that's very significant difference there. And this is, pretty much roughly the same innings pitched, right? 300 innings pitched over the last 3 years for Keuchel. Doesn't allow many home runs at home, which is amazing given that where the Astros play tends to be more of a hitter's park. 15 home runs allowed compared to 33 on the road. Batting average against significantly lower at home. Also, he tends to do pretty well against lefties, and given that Hosmer and Gordon are lefties, that does help. And the real kicker here is that Keuchel is really strong in the month of April. He tends to start off strong. If you look at his batting average against, it's the lowest in the month of April. His ERA is also the lowest. Pretty decent strikeout to walk ratio. So Keuchel could be strong. And he also pitched great on opening day. And his distribution not as tight as Bumgarner's, but still pretty consistent. About 30% chance that he'll average about 2 to 2.5 fantasy points per $1,000 DraftKings salary. So if we take a look at both Bumgarner and Keuchel, if you decide to go with both of them, or at least one of them, their salaries are high, but both of consistently will provide about 2 to 2.5 fantasy points per $1,000 in DraftKings salary. This is according to last year's stats. So this equates to about 20 plus points for each pitcher, which can be huge. Of course, 2 pitchers will count as 18 innings. You are allowed 90 innings for your DraftKings roster. So if you can get about 40 plus points from both pitchers and be averaging about 2 fantasy points per inning, that could allow you to take down a tournament as long as you're creative with your offensive players. And you'll need to be because these are both very expensive pitchers. But would it be recommended that you at least go with one of them? If you can't find a way to get both, strongly recommend it because both should do very well today against opposition they tend to dominate it. For offense, we're going to talk about 2 stacks. One stack will be the Dodgers, One stack that seems to stick out is going with Turner, who's a third baseman, Seager, shortstop. Of course, Adrian Gonzalez, first baseman. Puig is an outfielder. The game is Colorado, so need we say more? It has the highest over/under of the day. Those four hitters, actually, not all four of them, but I believe two or three of them have strong history against Jon Gray. Jon Gray has not done well against the Dodgers. And the batting lineup correlation, which you can find on the Advanced Sports Analytics site, is fairly strong. We'll get into that in a sec. But if we look at Jon Gray's history against the Dodgers, not terribly strong. OPS is pretty high. If you look at Adrian Gonzalez, 4 for 14, which is not bad. Corey Seager, 5 for 10 with a homer and 2 RBIs. Also, we got ourselves Justin Turner, 4 for 12, 333 batting average with a couple RBIs. Puig, 2 for 5. So those are kind of the strong hitters for the Dodgers, usually the heart of the order. So we can expect some pretty good results from the Dodgers, especially with a 2-1 game yesterday. We expect an explosion today in Colorado. Here's a batting order correlation. So typically we expect Seager, Turner, Gonzalez to be 2, 3, 4. Puig could be anywhere from 6, 7, or 8. Actually, more like 6 or 7. And the correlation is strong between the 2 and 7 hitters for the Dodgers, according to last year's stats. Pretty strong between 3 and 6 hitters. So you can see where we highlight the correlations for wherever these guys are batting in the lineup. So that could be a good way to go, using historical stats as well as some of the analysis that we provide on the Advanced Sports Analytics site. Another stack would be the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are going against the Braves. They're at home. Cervi did very well against the Braves, as well as David Freese. But since we are going to go with third base for Turner, probably we would take a different approach, maybe Harrison at second base. Not a great hitter, but just to fill out the second base spot, maybe a punt play. But Marte McCutcheon could be very solid. So we got R.A. Dickey, or I like to call him Old Man Dickey, who's 42. He is pitching, and of course pitchers can do fine in their 40s, but looks like he has slowed down a bit since his amazing Cy Young season in 2012 with the Mets. Record against Pirates not very good. Batting line correlation is still strong for the Pirates, given where Marte McCutcheon, Cervi, and Harrison bat. If we look at Dickey's splits, he is not all that great on the road. Also, at the start of the year, he's also not great because he has the highest ERA in the month of April for the last 3 seasons, 5.32. Looks like he tends to get better as the season progresses, but 0.269 batting average against, less than a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio over 88 innings. That's a pretty significant sample size we can consider. So probably the Pirates could be a good, somewhat contrarian play. Pirates may not be very popular. Dodgers would be. Definitely want low ownership if you want to take down the tournament. And again, here's R.A. Dickey's history against the Pirates. And you can look at Francisco. I'm not sure if it's Cervelli or Cervi, but 5 for 7, which is amazing. Harrison 6 for 17, so it may not be that bad of a punt play if you go with them. Marte and McCutcheon have not done well, but they are strong hitters for the Pirates, so maybe they'll figure out his knuckleball today. We'll see. But that's going to be the lineup we'll probably work on today. We'll definitely try to fit in Bumgarner as well as Keuchel, and then considering a Dodgers and a Pirate stack. Really hard to get all those combined, so you may have to make a sacrifice somewhere, but the historical stats and the distribution tend to favor all those players we just discussed. Good luck to you, and we'll check in again soon.